I was an employee, a barista at the PJ's that I owned for about a year and a half. I left to work in retail, and the store came up for sale, and I was still friends with the owners. I was still friends with a lot of my former coworkers, so I bought PJ's, and I became a franchisee, and that was 16 years ago. The coffee led me to originally become an employee there. The opportunity is what led me to be a franchisee. My favorite part about owning a PJ's Coffee is I like being my own boss. I'm also a morning person, so waking up at 4 a.m. is fine. The whole wake up and smell the coffee thing, that's always me. I think that if someone is looking for a franchise opportunity, they should find something that fits their lifestyle. If you're a morning person, a coffee business might be good for you. If you're a night person or a night owl, a coffee shop may not be good for you. The PJ's location that I own, when it became for sale, I felt like I was part of that store, part of that community. So when the opportunity arose and I bought into it, I wasn't looking for any other business opportunity. It basically presented itself to me. And I think that great things happen when opportunity and preparedness meet. And I was at a position where I could move forward, and here I am 16 years later. The support that I received from PJ's Corporate when I became a franchisee was always present but never forced upon me. Having worked in my store as a barista and having been there for several years before I became a franchisee, I knew a lot of the material. But every now and then when I needed another tool to make something work or another piece of advice to make something make sense, they were always a phone call away. Nowadays, people are email away. So one of the fondest memories of a PJ's Coffee guest is this girl named Heather who used to come to PJ's like every few months. But she kind of lived out of state and she was working out of state, but her family still lived in River Ridge. So she would come in and we would talk a little bit and she would go away, and then she'd come in and she'd talk a little bit and she'd go away. And then she came in and then I asked her on a date and then we got married. So why to franchise or why not to franchise? So let me try to break it down in directions. Have you ever been to Austin, Texas? Have you ever driven there? So if you just go west, you'll get to Austin. And you tell that to someone and they're like, I think it's a little bit more than just going west. And you're like, no, really, just get on the interstate and go west and you'll get to Austin, Texas. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna get in my car, but I really don't know if I'm gonna get there. All right, so then you go to a franchise and you're like, hey, can you tell me how to get to Austin, Texas? And they're like, sure. Get on I-10 until you get to Houston. Take the loop until you get to Highway 290 and take 290 west. You're gonna go through Brenham, it's gonna make a sharp left, and then you're gonna take that road for about an hour and 45 minutes, and then you're gonna wind up in Austin, Texas. That's why you become a franchisee, because your franchisor will tell you exactly where you need to go to get to the results you want.